Welcome once again. This is the Family Life platform, and today we are here again to share with you what's on our minds. And we're grateful today to have Pastor Patience. She's here once again to share this platform with us, and we have a very interesting topic that we've started 2 weeks ago. We've talked about it already, and as I have promised, we'll be able to bring someone or some people on. We're expecting the others to come on, but we can't connect to them. But I'm grateful that at least we are able to connect with her, and we are here today to share. And we want to open up the discussion today after we finish sharing, what we have on our minds. We want to open up the discussion for you to call in and give your view. It's important that you do that, and then let's just all be a part of this discussion because it's not somebody having a particular idea that is going to bring a solution to the problems that we are challenged with. And I always say on this platform we try to stick to the positive, more than to the negative. And the reason is that's why the platform was created. So we will state the issue, we state the case, but the way forward is always to suggest, positive suggestion to make a change that we're hoping for. So as you join us today, share the video, invite others to be a part. And the topic is there. We are asking the question. It's a question, why is it so easy, for men to relinquish or neglect their responsibilities? And if you've been following us, you will see the discussion that we've had, and we want to buttress and add to that today. So we're going to start by just allowing our sister Patience, Pastor Patience, to come in and introduce herself, and then we can start from there. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Thank you, Minister Patience. Tule, it's good to be back here on the Family Life platform. This is a very, very interesting discussion. And I know there are people out there that are asking a lot of questions just from the team or the of this topic. But we will try as much as we can to throw some light on the topic, and
Yeah.
do us a favor, just continue to share the broadcast. And we have the number up on the screen. You can also call us and make your contribution to on this program. So it's good to be back here on the Family Life platform. I want to say thank you to Minister Tule. She has been doing absolutely or extremely well in these different, situations and circumstances affecting the family. And she has been throwing light on these situations. And so I want to say thank you. And we continue to follow, we continue to watch as the discussion continues on the Family Life platform. So to our view all there, I say welcome and thank you for joining us. God bless.
Yeah. So we started last week before last, and then last week we just this gone Sunday. I was able to go in depth a little bit more in sharing what I thought the way forward. So somebody asked a question today before I even go any further, and said that what is the exact statistics that you have that brought you to this place of saying or asking the question, why is it so easy, for men, to relinquish their responsibility? So I say there is no statistics rating anywhere that I have seen. Maybe they have it, but not that I have seen. But rather, I am aware of the everyday life of Liberians and what we have gone through, especially in the times I was even growing up, and now it's even worse.
Mm,
So the statistics will be right in my environment, right in my community. And I look around when I even try to imagine right now growing up as a child in the neighborhood that I grew up in, and I look around, I can check on my fingers the amount of homes that had both parents and
Hmm.
then nurturing them. The majority of the homes had no both parents in it. Either the father or the mother was not there, but majority of the time the fathers were not at home. So that is where my statistics come from to start with. And if you go into Liberia right now, that has increased by maybe 100-fold. Okay, where you don't have both parents, in the lives of the children to be able to contribute and raise them as they should. So that is the statistics that I have. So, but then we'll go forward by just capping what we said. We said something that was very important. We asked a question: what are the responsibility of the men? So, because if somebody say they have relinquished or they neglected, their responsibility, then I started by asking the question last week. Then, what exactly, are the responsibility of the men? And we may not be able to list all of them, but in my own understanding, the few that I could relate with was what we listed. And we want to, just briefly go over that today. I said one of the first thing was the spirituality of the family. Okay? It is important that a man is in charge of the spirituality of his family. I said also love is important for him to be able to show and teach love to those children. Respect, kindness, and gentleness, dignity, hard work, okay? Financial responsibility is something that must be championed by the man. These are the things that, we when we think about the neglect, towards the children, towards the family that has happened over the decades, in the past and still happening now. These are the things that run through our mind. Okay, because most time when people say the man has neglected his responsibility, they only look at the financial aspect, which is just one aspect. Okay, because you can contribute financially to a child's life and don't do all the other contribution, that child life will not be balanced as they should. So we are looking for the entirety of, what it means to be responsible for championing the next generation. So those are the things that we highlighted. And then today we want to open it up, and then everybody else can come on board with their own ideas and suggestion, and let's discuss this and move forward. So I want to just stop here now and turn the floor over to my sister. Welcome her to come in with her own perspective as we go forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Tule. This topic is a very big one, and I believe we don't have the time to exhaust everything today. Like she rightly said, someone asked a question this afternoon and said, on what ground or what is the statistics that we are using to say men, you know, neglect or they are neglecting their responsibilities? So then we added something else to it by saying, why is it easy for them to neglect the responsibility? And I believe that you heard what Minister Tule said. She said her own experience looking at the community.
Yeah.
And so, her own survey just from her community. And so we are here tonight to just throw a little light on that topic.
Yeah.
And I believe that we are going to go, further, not only today, but in, weeks to come.
Yeah.
We, keep discussing it
Yeah.
little by little until
Yeah.
we come to, a place that we think we have exhausted. neglecting of the responsibilities, men. And we are using Liberia as a case study because that is where we found ourselves, or that is where God placed us. That is our root, our foundation, our bloodline. And so our example is from there. And there's another thing, when men, especially the Liberian men, and when they neglect their responsibilities, people give excuses for them. And they say, oh, this boy, his father did not take care of him. So those are the things, uh, uh, that is happening. Those are some of the things that's happening in his life. And he too, he's not taking care of his family. Oh, this boy, we keep giving all those excuses. And at the end of the day, the men keep dwelling on the wrong path. This discussion is about us leaving the path that is not correct
Yeah.
and going to the place where we're supposed to be.
Hmm.
It's about us correcting the wrong so we can do the right.
Yeah.
Today, funny enough, I decided to go to the child support website as here in America, and I was looking at the statistics of those that pay more child support. They were making this comparison between the woman and the man. And the statistics there on that website, just go to child support website, you'll see the statistics US. And they say so 85% of men.
Maggie, Maggie,
Sorry for that
Sorry,
interruption.
someone is trying to join on this side. I don't know how that happened. And
That's
it's,
okay. The person can join.
let me see how I
So
can remove that.
please stay with us. We got a little interruption, but nevertheless, we are still here.
All right.
And 85% of men, they pay like more when it comes to the women. Like out of 100%, how much with a woman pay, or how many women will pay child support, how many men will pay child support. So at the end of the day, like 85% of that child support, usually the men
The men.
pay that amount, pay a
Yeah.
certain amount, and just the rest of it, is the women. Why is it so? Just looking at that, you find out that from the imbalance of that number, you find out that the men, that percentage is more because there are more that that are not doing the right thing, that somebody have to force them to pay.
Yeah.
There are rules that are being established, laws that are being established to enable them meet their responsibility.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, this is by force. So that's the implication. You have to do what you have to do. And we are not talking about women tonight, but of course there are some women that they force also to pay certain amount of money. But if you are looking at the comparison between a man and a woman, you find out that the men, they are paying, more.
Mm.
But let's go back to us. The excuses that we find, and we always say that, oh, the man, he grew up like that, he never had a father in his life. And those are wonderful excuses, beautiful ones. And there are always excuses for something. All our lapses, we have excuses for them. All the things we do that we don't do right, we always have some kind of excuse. But does that mean we should dwell on that excuse and continue in our path, in our wrong path? No. We need to move from there. We need to move from there. And so If you were, if someone was a killer or someone raped someone, will you now start, the culture of rape because you too, you experience it? It should not be so. So if your father neglected you, should you continue in the culture of neglect and be neglecting your children as well? It should not be so.
Okay, can I
Like,
can I come into that?
yeah.
But that is very important that I don't forget to interject before we go
Go ahead.
forward.
Go ahead.
So much as that is very important, that we cannot stay into our slumber and continue to complain, but I want us to be able to add the fact that people are traumatized. That is a genuine reason why people will do this. I just want to strike a balance that she is 100% right, but for us to understand as well that people definitely are traumatized. Like if you go back, they say the abuser, um, how do they put it? What's the actual word? The victim also become the abuser. Okay? Because that's all they know. It's a psychological thing that affect people most time. So when they stay into a particular state for a long time, they don't know anything else. That's the only example that they know. But the difference here is, and I know that's exactly where my sister is going. I'm thinking that grace, because we're talking to people who love and believe in God and wants a change in their life. So if you have the seed of God, then you have grace. And that way grace will step in to be able to cause that balance that you need to forgive and move forward and not continue to stay into that state and doing the exact same thing. Because I don't want people to sit out there right now, and start to judge where she's going with this. But that is the balance that we are trying to create before we even move forward. So I will turn back over to her as she continue to say her perspective. Oh, I lost volume. What's going on? I'm not hearing you. What's going on? You muted.
Sorry
Okay. Uh-huh.
about that. I had to. So you just went a little step ahead of me.
Yeah.
We were talking about people creating a culture
Yeah.
on the wrong platform.
Yeah.
At the same time, like she said, which I was going to come to, we recognize that people can become traumatized from situations and circumstances that happen in their lives. And so in that case, we look for solution, we look for healing, and the grace of God is sufficient. That's not all to it, but you look for the appropriate solution, people that can help in the process so
Yeah.
that you can move from that place of hurt, you can move from that place of trauma, and then you be able to make your own contribution in the life of your family and in the society. So the first thing here, we are saying we should not dwell on the past, we should not build on faulty foundation. If your father or your grandfather were lacking in their responsibilities, that should not be your portion. The word of God says that a good man leave inheritance for his
Yeah.
children,
Exactly. Yeah.
and the blessings of the Lord make it rich and added no
That's
sorrow.
no sorrow.
So as we are building on a good and a solid foundation. We are talking about family here, the way God intend for the family to be. Why is it written in Genesis when Adam erred? God did not, and when Eve, she did that. God did not call Eve first. The first thing God did was Adam,
Yeah.
Adam, because he know that Adam is the one that have a greater responsibility being the head of the family. So we are saying here, people neglect or people forget that this is what they're supposed to do
Mm-hmm.
because maybe of their past, maybe they were traumatized, or maybe they grew up like that.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that we need to understand is that the reason why some people neglect their responsibility is because they were not properly mentored.
Exactly.
They had no one in their life to tell them this is what we are supposed to do. Follow my example. Follow me.
Yeah.
And the word of God say, follow me as I follow Christ.
Yes.
Follow me. We learn more from examples. Maybe the person never had a fatherly figure in their life. Maybe they never had an uncle they could depend on, or someone, or maybe they were not part of some organization, because somebody sporting organization, they help to mentor the young people.
Yeah.
Somebody organization we join, not the one that you join and you just join it because you want, some other organization by whom they just join it because they want drink beer, they want talk about all the women, or they want womanize, or they, different things that will not help the situation. So we are talking about organization that will help to mentor you in the right direction. So
I
you
will
that
just I will
you
just name one shortly for you. Would be
yeah,
we call them like back in the day, used to call them the Boy Scouts.
exactly.
They help them to for discipline,
Yes, they have
respect,
the Oscar and the Girl Scout.
yes, and
Yes,
how to be decent in the community, how to bring order when people are distorted and all of that. So
yeah,
that's one of the
that's one.
organization that,
That's one. In a school, and hopefully, maybe those organizations can still. I don't know whether they still operate in Liberia, but they were a good organization that will helping to mentor young people. And another group of people again, we used people used to go on camp. The churches used to organize certain camp, and you stay there, during vacation time, and there were all kinds of stuff, all kinds of things people used to learn.
mentoring. Yeah.
Yes, that was a good way to help to mentor your children or the youth of the community. So when people lack mentoring, it is a very it is a very dangerous thing, because you find out that they pick every little thing, bad example from out there. If they go to the north, whatever they are doing in the north, that people are not frowning on, because sometimes when you do the bad thing too long, it looks like it's good, but it's still bad.
Yeah.
And so children, they start picking up the bad thing from the north. They go there, they pick up one bad habit. They go to the south, they pick up another bad one. They go to the east and west, like that. So when you
Yeah.
don't have a mentor, you will not know where to draw the line. You won't have the idea that, oh, this is wrong. That's why, as family, we always need to pray for our children and the company they keep, so that those bad influence will not rub off on them. So
Yeah.
one of the reasons why men neglect their responsibility is because they are not properly mentored. Apart from the experiences they had, that they were traumatized when they were young, they were not properly mentored. And they saw that, oh, they went to another place and they got in, connection, got connected with a friend, and their friend is doing everything the opposite. The friend is depending on somebody to to buy stuff for him. The friend is depending on somebody to do his choice. The friend is depending on somebody to, just do everything. At the end of the day, they pick that bad habit, and when they are grown, they expect somebody to do everything for them.
Okay.
They don't take responsibility for anything. They go to another group and they pick up another bad habit. They are always right. There's no way they will say, oh, Let me take responsibility for this action that I took. They believe they are right. And at the end of the day, if they are not taking, when they have grown and they are not taking care of the family, they find reason why they're not taking care of the family. Like there was a comment on one of the posts under the flyer today. The person said, "Oh, sometimes the woman can say, I can do everything on my own." Even if the woman said that, I can do this, I can take care of myself, I can take care of my child. Is it good? Do you feel satisfied that the woman has assumed your role and your responsibility?
Okay.
Is that is that the final, the final result of a father who, if the mother tell you that, oh, I can do everything, and then you said, yeah, okay, let her go ahead and take care of the child, and then you sit back. You are not in the life of that child. Like you rightly said, you don't go to the activities, whether that football game, whether that kickball, whatever it is they are doing, you have absolutely no interest. But what you fail to understand is that there will come a time that you will need those very kids that you are neglecting. And if they are doing the same thing, maybe they put you in one home and they're just sending money there because that's what you were doing. You left them with a mom and you are just sending money. You are not there. So maybe the money will be able to keep your company. That is not the way God intended or He intended for us to live. So do not neglect your responsibility if you were doing it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And why I also think that this topic is not just sitting one time and having a discussion, because the very intent of this is for people to be able to identify first
Mm-hmm.
that this is a serious problem. Okay?
Yeah,
It's like a pandemic that has plagued us for so long, and it's been so long, and it's something that we live with, that we no longer see it as a problem anymore, even
mm,
though we know it to be a problem. We have adjusted our minds and our everything towards these kind of issues, and we just live it one day at a time.
mm,
And that is the whole idea of raising these kind of topics and these kind of conversation up, so that we can create awareness to say that, hey, even though we've been, in this territory for a very long time, it doesn't make it right. Okay. And we also know that the side effect of such a thing has been one of the major reasons why we're having a breakdown in our society. But we are
exactly.
unable to identify the problem, and we are hoping for change to come.
Mm,
Every day we are hoping for change to come. And on the Family Life platform, over and again, we keep saying the change starts with us. The change begins with us. If we want to change, we become the change. And how we can become the change. This is some of the discussions we are having. The first thing is to realize that indeed this is a problem. Okay? There are many flip sides to this. Whoever find themselves in this condition of not taking their full responsibility, there are many flip sides to it. One
mm-hmm,
of the side would be what she's already said. Another side would be the fact that men have actually gone through these things, and they have not had mentors and the fathers in their lives. So to tell you the truth, they don't even know that presently they are doing the wrong thing. Some people are not aware, especially if they are in the capacity to provide financially for their family. They believe that's it.
mm,
Once they provide financial, finances for the family, then that's it. And
yeah.
that is not it, because we have seen families who have broken down, who have scattered, but yet they don't have financial difficulties. And we see family who have risen up in the communities, and they don't have any financial, buoyancy, but they have the unity, they have the love, they have the respect, they have the kindness, they have dignity, they have
Mm,
hard work, and all of these things.
mm,
So it is good that people first thing identify that this is a serious issue. And it's wrong for people to even have the mentality and think, even though we're all right to how we want to see things, okay, but the reality will remain the reality that this is an issue that has faced us.
That's
Okay,
right.
it's an issue that has faced every one of us in our communities. And it's affecting us so that the breakdown in a society, the corruption in our society, the violence in our society, the abuse in our society, all of the things that we are facing right now, particularly in Liberia, this is where they come from.
Mm.
There's nobody can talk to nobody, nobody can listen to nobody, no respect. People don't know what it is to be respectful in a society or in a community. People don't know anymore how to have dignity in a society, especially
Mm.
our society. Dignity is gone so far away. People no longer trust and believe in hard work. People only want the fast way. So the issue we are discussing is just one issue, but we have many issues that have caused these things,
Mm.
to just spread out in our community. And this is where it comes from. Because when a child is raised up properly and decently, they are not just going to sway their way. The enemy will fight, but the majority of them will remain. The Bible says it over and again.
Mm.
Train up a child in a way that when he grow and he is old, he will not depart. People can make mistakes. So we're
Mm-hmm.
not talking about people making mistakes. We're talking about people living in the issues and not even identifying and not even wanting to
They don't
change
even realize. They don't even realize that
that they
they're
have
doing it
these
wrong.
issues.
Yeah.
So this is why these topics are important. Everything we do, everything we say on this platform, at the end of the day, we always link it back to how it's affecting our community, how it's affecting our nation, our society. And you look at the reality today, right there in Liberia. Look at the level of violence that you see today. Look at the level of lack of love amongst us that we see today. Look at the lack of and lack of respect. You know, dignity is gone so far away. People want fast life, so they are so corrupt. Everything from government downward, everybody, it's not government alone, but everybody has gotten involved in the corruption, from up down, from down up, everywhere. Why? Because it's the order of the day. How did this happen? Do you think it's overnight? No, it is not just with this government. It has been with every other one that has come. Why? Because this particular thing has broken down. The most important thing to the society, which is the family, has been broken down for a very long time. And then when they stay there, when they stay in that state for a long time, that's the kind of results we'll see over the time. And if nothing is done, things will continue to go worse, continue to digress. So that's why it's important that we admit that we are in a bad place. And we just think politically we want things to change. As much as politically things need to change, we're hoping that we can get somebody. But at the end of the day, if anything must change politically, it would take a man or a woman or a group of people who have got what it took. And this is what we are talking about. People who've got dignity, people who've got respect, people who got love for themselves, their family, and for nation, people who got stability in their lives, people who got kindness, and all of these package in their lives. That's the only way they're going to be able to champion the change we are looking for. So how is it possible? We will always want to say that this is not, relevant, and this is not important, when this is the major reason why we are exactly where we are. And we are
Mm-hmm.
not identifying the actual problem, because this is the problem. If the foundation be destroyed anytime, in any way, what can you do? Build a building right now. I don't care how beautiful the building is, and you erect it. If the foundation of that building is not right, when the wind comes, when the weight sits upon the building, whatever happens, that building will come crumbling down. So the foundation has been destroyed
Mm.
over the decades. And that's why we are seeing the end result today. Okay, how our children have been exposed to drug. One of the issues that we are battling with right now in Liberia. Why we have so many Zogos. You know why?
That's
Because
right.
the borders have
That's
been
it.
broken down. There are no more elders at the gate. We talked about that on the platform before. There are no more elders at the gate. Nobody there to restrict things. Okay, first in the enemy day, he made poverty to plague us. People are so hungry, people are so needed that they prefer to sell their soul, their dignity, just to be able to get 1 or 2 cents that will not last for the next day. So, based on that fact, the walls are all broken down. Every sector of the country, all the walls are broken down so that all these evil and all these things that are plaguing us have just entered into place, and there can be nothing done about it. Why? Because people who are there to stand against it no longer have dignity, no longer have respect. They don't even understand that the children and the children will be affected by the things and the decision they are making. Because they have a few dollars today, people just break the protocol, people just destroy things. So this is why we are discussing this. Because if children have grown up in the right way, majority of the time is going to help. We have seen people who have had good parents and all of that, and they still sway to the left. Okay, but that is not the case because in what we're trying to discuss. Because at the end of the day, majority of the time, when the person have the right foundation, even if they try to go astray, something will constrain them to bring them back to sanity. Why is it nobody coming back to sanity right now? Why? Why? People can be raised by single parents. We have wonderful people who have been
That's
raised
right.
by single parents and they are doing great. So that's why we say, yes, it's not an excuse, but everybody not the same. Okay. But you must agree that that is a problem. That's the only way you will first thing find a solution. Until you agree that there's an issue, you're not going to ever find a solution. So this thing we're talking is not about man as a man. It's not about one sex. Because when we start to talk about the issues that women has caused for us, and today we are where we are, that's a whole different ball game. But on this platform, we try to talk things bit by bit because the whole idea is to be able to contribute meaningfully, and it's not about an argument, so that people can actually understand what it is and people can take something from it, and at the end of the day they can actually be able to make a change if there is a need for a change in that area of their lives. So that's why we're not bringing it in to have topics and we'll begin to tear into it and haul and pull. That's not the picture at the end of the day. Yes, we bring it to the platform, yes, we discuss it, but at the end of the day we are making meaningful contribution to say this is a problem and these are the things we think we can do. So if I one thing I want to say before we go any further, the way forward. The way forward is significant to all of what we are discussing because we have earmarked many things that we see happening around us. But what is the way forward? That is the question I first want to ask. I will start by saying the way forward, we firstly must identify that this is a problem. This is like a plague, and it has plagued us for many decades, and we can no longer identify that it's even because it's so engraved in our society, it's so a part of us that we can no longer even identify it as a problem, but we must be able to do that because it is a problem where children are not being raised properly, and people who are supposed to be responsible for them are not taking the initiative and doing what is expected of them. So that's one of the way forward is for people to go back to the drawing board and start to raise the next generation tactfully. The next way forward, I believe, when we have identified these problems, we highlight them. And if my sister were talking about some of us in the past, I mean, some of us, we just want to live in excuses and all of that, which is very true because there are many of us as well are aware of what we are doing, and we are aware that these are challenges, and we are aware that when we were going through it, we suffer it, but we have forgotten that it's suffering our own children, and we just sit there, last doesn't call it, and do absolutely nothing about it. But the other side to this is that when you get aware of this, you want to make sure whatever that has happened to you do not happen to your generation.
That's
Whatever
right.
thing wrong that has gone in your life, you should be able to be the sacrificial lamb. That's what a father would do, a good father. He always sacrificed himself to make sure that the next generation is better. He can see far ahead. He has experience. He's been there. So he put perspective. He put things in perspective to make sure that the next generation is championed in a way that it will not be as bad as it was for him. So when we're talking, this is where we're talking from. A good father, a father that has a heart for his generation. He will make sure he able to deal with the issues that even plague him and then make adjustments so that the next generation is far more better. And somebody said something one time, and who was it? Was or Charles Bromsky, who were on this political stuff at the time, and he was talking to the young people. He said, it's a sad day in Liberia, which was a reality. He said it's a sad day in Liberia because the older generation is far more educated than the younger generation. Is that a lie?
No.
Liberian people? That's not a lie. Education at that time and education presently in our nation, the difference is so vast, it's far other place. Because we're talking about the systems being broken down. So that's one of the systems that has been broken down completely. That's one of the systems that has been broken down completely. So he said it. He said a thing, and then I can't leave my mind. And it's just happening before us every day. No information, no education. And this is some of the way we can educate ourselves by talking about these issues. And then we admitting to the places that we've gone wrong. Okay? And how can we make adjustment? It's never late. We highlighted on Sunday that grace is sufficient and it's made perfect in our weakness. So this is a weakness now for us. How can we move forward? If you tap into God, he will release that grace that will make you to do what you cannot do on your own. So if you're suffering from hurt, you're suffering from bitterness and anger because your father wasn't able to raise you like he should. He was not there for you and he didn't do what he was supposed to do and all of that. This is time that you tap into grace and grace will be made perfect for you. Because with all grace, you are doing absolutely nothing and you're going nowhere. You will continue to hurt and hurt and hurt the next generation, and you will pass it on to them. You'll pass the same hurt, and they will continue to do the same thing, and we just remain in a vicious cycle, and we're going nowhere. And things are getting better. Go back to Liberia. The last 5 years, or maybe can you compare 7 years ago to presently? No, things have gotten worse in every aspect. Not just the economy, in every aspect, things have gotten so worse. The security of the country, the finances of the country, the violence in the street, the dirt, the corruption, and everything keep getting worse. And you say, oh, it's just this government. No, it's not. We are the problem because we have fundamental, foundational issues that we are dealing with. And until we identify that and start to see how it can be rectified, we are going absolutely nowhere because somebody else takes over. And if they don't have these fundamental things that we talk about, love for nation, respect, kindness, spirituality, dignity, hard work, financial responsibility, and be able to send that wave into the country that people will grasp onto something, change is not coming soon. So that's why we have to talk about this right in our small nuclear, this family. We have to talk about it over and again. We can never out talk these things because they are there staring in our faces every day. This thing has to be broken.
Yes.
The curse has to be broken. That's true, Antonia. It has to be broken. The curse has to be broken. And how can it be broken? We must rise up to the plate. We must accept the mistakes. We must accept responsibility. And we must begin to make the changes that we want to see. What change do you want? In which area do you want to change? Become that change. Begin to champion that change. It may be slow, but Rome was never built in one day. Let's just have a starting place. That's the only thing we need to start, because time will soon pass and we'll see the fruit of our labor because we decided to embrace the change. That is the whole idea behind this kind of topic, which is a reality. Which is a reality. Men have neglected the responsibility for many reasons. Some of them are just being evil. Some of them don't. Some of them actually even grew up in homes that the fathers were there for them. But the majority of them, we believe they were neglected. So it's that spirit that has been passed on to them. But we will not stay and say because I was abused, like my sister said, say I was raped, I will begin to rape every person that come in my life. Since my child was murdered, I will begin to murder everybody else that come in my life. We can't do that.
No way.
That is crime we are committing as well. So for us to stay to that place and continue to be irresponsible and neglecting our responsibility and hoping that because we didn't know any better, it's time to embrace the change that we need.
That's right.
So this is why we came to be able to share this thing with us again. Let's wake up. Let's wake up, people, especially our Liberian people. We need to wake up. Wake up from our slumber. Wake up from our slumber. We are hoping to have change. How are we going to have the change? We're not making no adjustment in our own lives, in our own families, in our own communities. But we are hoping a change come.
That's right. Yeah.
So you know, open up to people who we have the because time is fast spent. Yeah. We have the telephone number there, the WhatsApp telephone number. I will read it out to you. It's 952-201-9287. You can call the number if you want to make any meaningful contribution, or if you have a question, you can call and then we can be able to discuss it. So that's the number. Just call us and let's have a discussion. If you don't want to call, you can also send a text.
Yeah.
You know, and then
read the text just before we close.
And move forward.
Yeah, just to remind us about, you know, the reason why some of the men neglect the responsibility. The first thing I said, trauma. Some are traumatized. They are hurt. Yeah. The second thing, they lack proper mentoring. There's no one they can look up to, you know, to show them the right way. Yeah. Some of them is through negative influence. Yeah. They see their friends, they see their peers, they see somebody else doing the wrong thing and they follow suit. Their friend had a baby by somebody and the friend is not taking care of that baby. They decide that, oh, if this is happening and John Bryan, he's passing around, he's doing nothing about it and everything looks like it's normal, he start in the same trend. And sometimes men will give all the excuses. They don't have money. You know, I'm looking for money. And when I get money and I will do this, I do that. Money is not the only thing we are talking about here, like we keep saying over and over. So sometimes the men, they use the issue of money to stay away from the family.
Can I interject before you go forward?
Yeah.
Which is very important. How's about right in the home? How many fathers are in the life of their children education? How many fathers call them? Bring the assignment, bring your book. What are you doing in school? How many times do you see fathers do that? Somebody will say, oh, because the woman stay home and that the mother can do it. But this time, everybody working, everybody going to work. Everybody come tired. I believe back in the days, most times that was left to the woman because the man go to fend and the woman stay home. In this 21st century, everybody working.
They're doing something.
Everybody have to be able to chip in. But it's just been a man thing now to just watch everybody grow up by themselves. How many times do they come and say, bring your book? You know, let's see this lesson. What's going on? You want your children to make all the hundreds, but you've never been part of the process.
That's right. That's right.
How many times fathers are the one that call for prayer meeting in the house?
That's right.
How many times?
Yeah, okay. So let me complete my list. Waiting for millions. Another thing is they're just lazy. Plain laziness.
Yeah.
Things that they're supposed to do, they're not doing it. They always have a mountain of excuses why you can't follow your child. why you can't sit that child down and have a discussion and or the whole 9 year excuses, laziness. And another thing is someone that just wicked. I think you made mention about wickedness, right? Some people they just don't. The only thing they're so self-centered. It's all about them and nobody else.
Yeah.
And they have no conscience. It's like, you know, I'm the only person here. The rest of the people don't matter. But a good father, and this is a word I want to leave with us tonight. A good father will be in the growth process of that child at
Exactly.
every level. Whether you are in the home or you are outside the home, you will be in the life of that child. You will
Yeah.
not neglect the things that you're supposed to do, no matter what, the differences that you have, with the mom. You will not allow it to interfere with the growth process of that child. So you will also be, like she talked about status. Yes, it's part of my list. You will be part of the study of that child. That means the educational processes from kindergarten all the way to wherever they want to reach. You will be part of it. You will be part of the activities, things that they are involved in, whether it is in school activity or it is outside of the school activity. You will be part of it. A good father will sit the child down and give them some life advice, some life example, experiences you have had. You will say, my child, this is the experience I had. These are the things that I went through. This is how I was delivered. And other examples, you will bring them to the table as you are discussing it with that child. Because why? You want the child to know that life is not all about bread and butter. There will be challenges. There will
Yeah.
be time that nobody else will be there for them. And they will have to stand on their own. And they will have to make the right decision.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the this conversation with the parent is very, very important. And the most important thing here also is your spiritual responsibility. Train up a child in the way he go. And when he is old, he will
You will
not.
never depart.
Your spiritual responsibility as to lead your family towards God.
Mm.
When you are teaching them, I tell my children, I say, well, I play my part. I'm still praying for you every day and have shown you the way. I've laid the foundation. The day you leave my house and you're not praying anymore, it means that you have diverted. But God knows, He knows my heart, and He knows I have done my part as a parent. But my responsibility remains that I will continue praying for you. Play
Yeah.
your part.
Yeah.
Play your part as a parent. And
Yeah.
as you do that, the word of God tells us that God vouched for Abraham. He said, I know him, that he would direct his household after me.
Mm.
Direct your household after God.
Amen.
God
Amen.
bless you. God bless you. We got some comments here, woman of God. So if
Okay.
you want us to take those comments before you
Take the
close,
comments, yeah, before.
just feel Pastor James, he just said powerful. And I know he loves powerful. Yeah. I know. And Nina said good topic. And this is Jensen. He said, I'm listening. Not sure I've gotten some answers. Why? Well, from my perspective, one major reason why men neglect their responsibilities will be because of emotional trauma from some women. You see? Well, like I said earlier,
Yeah, I need to comment on that, please.
yeah,
John.
let me comment. Like I listed some things before you come in and close. I
Uh,
listed some things, James. I said, yes, the reason why, some of the reason, not all, but some, they can be traumatized, they lack mentoring, negative influence,
mhm.
waiting to get millions, always that excuse, oh, I'm looking for money, they're
Yeah.
waiting to get millions, and sometimes they're just plain lazy.
Yeah.
Lazy to go out with a child, lazy to talk to them, lazy to do just about anything. And
Yeah.
sometimes they're just wicked.
Yeah.
Some people are just plain wicked, evil.
Yeah.
Because wicked is mild, but
Yeah.
evil.
Yeah.
And then another thing here is that when you have a problem with your ex, whether that your wife or your baby mama or whatever name you want to call it, that does not put a top like a finality on your relationship with your children. Then it
Yeah.
means you are just using that woman as an example to neglect your responsibility.
As
And
an
most of the time
excuse.
they do that. Yeah.
Mhm.
They use it as an excuse, as an escape route, or they she say, I should not be in the life of the children. And you think you are exempted from the punishment that will befall you because you neglected your responsibility. No, you will always meet it wherever you go. When you owe, that's when you will know. When nobody else is there for you, that's when you know that if I had known, no matter what, I was going to be in the life of that child. If you have a quarrel with a woman, do you have a quarrel with your child? The child got nothing to do with it. So let
Yes.
the child not be an excuse. Let the woman not be an excuse for you to neglect your child or you neglect your responsibility. You got to be part of that growing process. So the
One
Lord help
one
us.
thing one thing I would want to say regarding this comment, he said emotional, you know, damage, drama, or whatever, trauma
Mhm.
that has taken place.
Drama.
It,
Yeah, from
it,
the
it,
woman.
it's important. That word I want to take, but
Mhm.
now relating that to just a woman, I wouldn't want to go that far. But I know that emotional trauma has been one of the major reasons why men neglect their responsibility. And I know the kind of trauma we're talking about is that man himself has been neglected. So there's no emotional drama or trauma I think would come from a woman. If a woman neglects a man, he leaves her and he move on. Okay?
Mhm.
So it will not cause him to neglect his offspring. Once it has been proven that that is your child, once it is proven that that is your child,
Mhm.
you cannot give that right to a woman or any family member to allow you to not be a part of that child's life.
That's right.
You have to be able to fight because you are championing the next generation. So it depends on your mentality. How do you see your child? How do you see your offspring? It is part of you. It is you. It is mini you. So you are neglecting yourself by allowing some emotional thing that have happened between you and a woman,
Mm.
and she try to stop you to see it. The law is always there.
That's right.
The law is always there to be able to help you to take charge and be part of your child's life. There's never a time you will go to the law and wanting to be a part of your child's life and you've done absolutely nothing wrong and the law will back this woman. No, except you're trying to emotionally abuse your child, the law will stay and keep you away from your child. Other than that, the law will never. The law will
Mhm.
rather support you and protect you to be a part of your child's life. But like my sister said, the main word is the excuse that we use. So once that come out, we say yes. I'm not even worrying myself because you don't want to be a part. You don't want to, take part in the child's life. Okay. My sister just wrote a comment here. She said we don't need to play the blame, the blame here. Everyone needs to talk and take responsibility for their own actions. That's exactly what we're saying. So
Yeah.
you cannot put blame on anybody else because you are not taking your responsibility.
Mm.
You must be able to do that. Okay? I don't think in any way possible, any point in time, a woman in her rightful mind, okay, will allow the man to walk away and say he should stay away and not have anything to do with the child. And if the man decides that he wants to be a part of the child life, how is it possible that that woman will stop the man? No. First thing, let me tell you, the children, because they are children, they don't even know what most times going on. They start to insist, I have to see my mom, I want to see my mom, or I want
Yeah.
to see my papa, I want to go there. But what happened at the end of the day when the children connect with you? There is no connection, there is no love. You're unable to even give them love because maybe probably you didn't even get any. I had that experience one-on-one. I was put out of school. I always was put out of school because my mom had, many children, and then raising everybody single-handedly, it was tough. So I was put out of school, and I came crying out there, and I told her, but why don't you ask my dad to pay my school fees? Hey, other children in school, they're going to school. Don't I have the same right to do that? And I think because whatever has transpired between them, it hurt her so much when I said that to her. The next morning, she said, get dressed, let's go. She dressed me up nicely, took me to immigration office, and said, climb downstairs. She asked for Matthew Kawayam to take me to the office. When you ready, they can send you to my office. She was with the post office. And I'm telling you this thing. I went there. The receptionist went into his office. He was a big guy, had a big office there. And they told him about, hey, he came outside, he saw me. What are you doing here? I said, my mom sent me because...
Can you imagine the greetings? He's supposed to be happy to see you.
Yeah, exactly. He said, what are you doing here? I said, my mom sent me. So I said, my mom sent me. The order wedding and for my mom. He started talking to the people and just walked off and went on doing stuff. So I'm like, okay, maybe you have an idea. You will come back to me. I stayed in our office for hours. The man never gave me a drink. The man never gave me a food. I was like maybe 9-10 years old. He never gave me anything, nothing whatsoever. So what is it that my mom would do to him that he would do this to me now? And I'm
in his office.
Yeah, and he had a girlfriend there at the time. I was small, so I didn't even know. But after the war, I knew that woman was his girlfriend. She was called Miss Amy. And Miss Amy came to me and said, oh, you got to be plum daughter. You look so much like. She went on. She gave me 2 donuts to eat. And then later on, he walked away and left me there. Meanwhile, this guy lived in the exact community I live in Banose. He left me to that office and went home. That's how wicked some of these people can be sometimes. He drove and left me. When the woman came, another woman said, but what Matthew, they can't stay here. You still to a man yet? And guess what? She was the one at the time they had a door queen. She chartered a taxi and told the taxi exactly where to carry me. And she gave me that door queen. Suddenly she put extra $5 in my hand and said, go to your mom. And I went home. And my mom said, you met your dad? I said, yes. So what happened there? All that time it happening there, I was still excited to be there. You are a child. A child was a child. I was just excited. I was in my pa office and he giving order to people and they moving up and down. Stupid child, my dear. When I reached home and my mom said, did you tell your pa? And I told her what happened. When I told my mom what happened, that's when it dawned on me that I was abandoned by this man and I began to cry. My mom just rubbed my back and told me sorry. She said, that's why I will not ask your dad to pay your school fee. All will be outside the school. We'll be begging him to the whole you until I can pay it. But I'm not asking him. That's why. Okay? So we're talking from first hand. Somebody say, oh, maybe because you went through that, so you think everybody else going through that. No, right in my community that I live, almost everybody there were being raised by some single parent. Majority of them, the fathers were never in their life. Few men, I can remember while we were growing up, were there in the lives with the children. So that's my statistics. That's where it comes from. So what will you say now that my mom sent me there and this guy did not do this? What will you say? What will you say? Will you say that, stuff happened between them and that's the reason? No. We can't keep finding excuses.
Wow. And James is saying here, can I walk in the home of my ex to take my child?
Well, it depends.
It got to be some arrangement. You can just walk in anybody's home and take a child. So once there's some arrangement, okay, you can take the child during the weekend or every other weekend. They have some understanding. Yeah.
So I think when you having an ex relationship, you people must be able to maintain a communication. And once you can maintain a line of communication, that should not be a problem to go and see your children. And if you definitely have a problem going to see your children, like the woman want to stop you from seeing your children, then you have a right to make sure the law get involved that you're able to see your children. It's imperative that you are part of their life. They are your DNA. They are part of you. It's imperative that you are part of their life. Nobody else can do what you will do in a life. Why do you see children? Other people are involved in their life and contributing to them immensely, but they want that mother, then they want that father, no matter what. It's important. It's important. So this is what we have to share with you today. And there are no more comments on my end. I just read the last one. And so if we have no more comments, we have overstayed. We were hoping to go for 45, max 1 hour, and now we're 1 hour 5 minutes. So we are definitely going to go back into this topic, but from a different perspective.
And we'll try to bring a guy with the platform.
Yes, to be able to create the balance, because we need that balance. And especially, I believe we can find somebody who has actually been affected by this, a man for that matter, who will be able to lay perspective, and how have they overcome, if they have, or what process are they in, overcoming, all the trauma that they've gone through as well. So we will get back to you and we'll talk more about this. But our perspective is just here to tell you that this is an issue that has plagued us, and we need to identify it, and we need to make adjustments and some changes in our lives so that we can be able to accommodate the people that God has graced us with, which are the children, that we are championing them for the next generation. And if we do not do a good job, definitely the generation is going to fail. So that's why we're seeing a failed state, a failed nation, Liberia particularly, because that generation was not championed properly. There were a lot of distortion in the lives of the children. Now they are adults. They are going exactly according to the pattern that they have seen and they have learned. How can we make this change? Identify that there's an issue. And then we start to embrace that we can make a change, and we start to think about how we can make meaningful changes step by step, gradually. It's not an overnight process, but we believe we all can bring a change to the table by being the change that we need to see.
That's right.
Thank you very much. Do you have a closing word so we can close on this note?
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We will be back here to continue this discussion. So continue to share the broadcast, make your comment, and you can always leave a comment. We will get back to you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on this platform.
Thank you so much for being here for us every time that we need you. You're always here to share with us on this platform. We're grateful. Family Life say thank you, thank you, thank you, and God bless you. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Okay. Bye. Share the video. Invite others.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.